Everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable. That is called cannibalism, my dear children.
Which man, if I were ring man, what's it? Who are we denying here?
Check did not clear the bank, and so we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
I rolled out there and took the box up and started pulling it up, and it was so heavy, it just it broke the winch, and we couldn't get it off the trailer, so we had to leave it on the trailer because it was too heavy. So I was asked by Nick to have a crew go down and unload the container at the other yard.
I got a radio call that, from Ron Gillette, the foreman. They said the men were throwing up and there was something really wrong.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet. And it was opened up, and there it was. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And it's just, just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs, it's just, really it's just, it makes you want to cry when you see something like that.
Starting at the very front of this container, it was just wall clear to the ceiling and clear to the sides, filled with them. I really don't want to witness it again. Not what I saw.
Well, as the supervisor for the County of Los Angeles, we found out through the media that 17,000 infants had been stored in a container.
I've always been good at finding patterns. And the closer I get to this topic, the more receptive I become to a new kind of language. One that speaks to the darkest parts of my soul.
Like, what would your last meal be?
Oh, brother, probably a fully loaded deep dish pizza. I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
That's when this feeling of delusion sinks into my bones. Surely this clip of Hillary Clinton saying she loves pizza is just that, and nothing more. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that a part of me, sometimes a large part of me, begins to consider the notion that what the former Secretary of State is doing here is talking to us.
I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
And by us, I mean those who fully grok the scale of this topic completely.
Hillary, you are next. Name the most mischievous thing Chelsea did as a teenager in the White House.
My answer was order pizza, and here's what I mean by that.
Chelsea, your mother often babysits for you. What does she do that you don't approve of?
Pizza for lunch and dinner every day.
That's it, you scored a point! Okay.
I think the ultra-wealthy and the high class among us are infatuated with symbolism. And since probing into this issue, I now see the world with new eyes. Because for better or worse, I've opened a doorway in my mind which now notices their motifs. Q infamously said, their symbolism will be their downfall. But does this still feel true for anyone? Is it possible their symbology is more for us than them? A vehicle of sorts, driving us to change the way we think, or to, quote, reset into new paradigms. All I'm saying is, I didn't used to think this way, and I sometimes find it difficult to see how it's an improvement. I used to be able to watch a Disney movie, for example, without picking up on the endless Masonic emblems strewn throughout, or the blatant metaphors, in the case of Pinocchio, to a kind of Epstein Island.
Stupid little boys. Stupid little boys. And I take them to Pleasure Island.
Sometimes I wish I could close the door, but I know I can't. I've discovered something new. This is the patterns of the cabal. The first example is not directly related to human trafficking, but in my view, they remain relevant in how they point to patterns among the elite class. But do the apparent patterns we think we're discovering ultimately have a benign explanation? Are these images showing a genuine motif of Masonic influence? A new form of communication, waiting for us to take notice? Or are we applying meaning to something that doesn't exist? The fact that I can't say for sure is perhaps the most perplexing.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Although the music video makes it appear that all the images were drawn solely by Bieber's fans, according to the Brewer brothers, who directed the music video, they did indeed draw, quote, some of the images. Which drawings do you think were created by the Brewer brothers? In Pedogate Part 1, I showed how the term BH Kids functioned as a kind of code for pedophilic content online. And for the unfamiliar, the relevant piece to focus on here is the website liska.com, which is a Slovenian lingerie company that showed up in search results after I typed BH Kids into Google. More importantly, it showed an image of a naked girl, maybe age 5 or 6. Long story short, I found that when browsing liska.com normally, no naked children were on their website, obviously. But simply typing BH Kids into Google was enough to literally activate new destination links to liska.com. New destination links which showed naked children, right? They were secret links, hidden links, activated by BH. Now, I initially found the term BH Kids after typing in these 3 Vietnamese words behind Anthony Bourdain and Obama. And the first thing that pulled up was this video of young Vietnamese children singing about not smoking, which is what the words behind Obama and Bourdain mean. They mean no smoking. Now, the video with the children came from a massive YouTube channel called BH Media. And the reason why I'm talking about all this again is because the cryptic function of BH that activates hidden links, apparently doesn't only work for lingerie companies.
That is gorgeous. Can you paint like that?
The Brookview House in Boston, Massachusetts, is a non-profit organization that provides living solutions for homeless children. Now, BH is the acronym of Brookview House, so if BH Kids is on their site, it's a non-issue. And to think otherwise is paranoid. But it's not on their website. Nowhere can the term BH Kids be found. None of the categories go to a page that says BH Kids. No link loads to a page that says it. It's not there. But in the exact same way as Liska.com, the good news is that it shows nothing indecent. The bad news is their website hides the page associated with the term BH Kids, then reveals it in the same way as what is arguably a website that shows child pornography. It could, of course, be a coincidence. The president and CEO of Brookview House is Deborah Hughes.
And I invite you to join us and help us create this movement. Thank you.
Season 1 of True Detective is one of the greatest television shows of my time. It follows two operatives investigating an alleged satanic cult thought to involve top law enforcement officials complicit in the cover-up of child sexual abuse and human trafficking. The creators chose to emphasize the demonic cult with this symbol. An obvious allusion to the actual pedophile symbol seen here in FBI documents. Documents which were present in episode 6 in the third season of True Detective, which was called The Crooked Spiral.
Dolls are used as signifiers in the human trafficking underground. Like this blue spiral, it's code for pedophiles.
Season 1 of True Detective works so well because it knows so much about its subject's nature. In my view, only someone with knowledge of the symbolic patterns and behaviors could make a show which continually got right the details. This pedophile symbol is often mistaken as a, quote, circle, when it's actually a derivation of the original spirangle. The relevant shape for this symbol remains triangular, but it's subtle, almost circular, but not quite. One could argue that this level of detail toward the symbolism of pedophile groups could potentially come from a deeper understanding than most of us. An understanding of what these cults seemingly convey to us. What you're about to see is the opening scene of True Detective Season 1. Let me know if anything sticks out to you.
Yeah, cult, ritual, murder. You can thank the advertiser for that.
Could you hold off on can't do that here no more.
Huh? Oh, you assholes. You want to hear this or not?
given the charges that were brought down today in regards to Harvey, what are your thoughts? What are just your whole thoughts about that?
So, Dr. Phil, I am going to give you from now till April 5th to issue an apology, not only to me, but to Hannah and any other child that you sent to Turnabout or any other program like this. And if you don't, I'm going to handle things my way.
The plaintiff was sent to the Turnabout Ranch after an appearance on the Dr. Phil show. Hannah Archuleta says she was 17 when she was sexually assaulted twice by a staff member in 2019.
I expected to be treated with understanding. Instead, I experienced retaliation from the ranch after I spoke up.
That's the thing with these places is you have no evidence. You don't have a phone there. They don't have cameras there. Like, there's no evidence of none of this. And obviously all the staff is in on it.
Children were restrained, hit, thrown into walls, strangled, and sexually abused regularly at Provo. I could not report this because all communication with my family was monitored and censored. And what is disgusting is the program doesn't just censor communication with family, but also with the entire outside world. So there was no way we could call for help.
In Pedogate Part 2, many criticize my inclusion of Donnie Wahlberg, who, being part of the boy band New Kids on the Block, refers to his fans as blockheads. But he actually never uses the term blockheads. Instead, he abbreviates it with BH. Now, after listening to the criticism coming from quite a few of my followers that Donnie Wahlberg has nothing to do with any of this, I became somewhat sympathetic to this notion. I mean, just because your boy band is about, quote, new kids, connecting that to the more insidious interpretations of BH felt unfair. My sympathies toward this rebuke, however, were challenged within the first few seconds of inquiry into who it was that owned New Kids on the Block. I'm not precisely sure as to the true nature of BH, or the enigmatic pedophile spiral, or the possibility that an elite cult of child sacrifice exists among us today. But sometimes, when I'm in a certain mood, and the timing is just so, I get this sense that my deepest suspicions about the nature of evil in this world are true. But then this notion fades, and I have doubts. Deep doubts that I merely live in a reality of my own creation, never noticing, only imagining. After a while, my thoughts form an equilibrium, a balancing act. Things get back to normal, until a new pattern reveals itself to me, and I'm left questioning everything all over again. A new cycle of ornaments and arrangements that once perceived cannot be unseen.
Like these, Bill McDonald created composite sketches of alien beings.
The illustrations I do are made specifically for scientific research and for publication, and the intent is to be as accurate to the witness descriptions as possible.
Altogether, he's identified 7 different types of aliens.
The first category are the Roswell aliens. The Roswell aliens have a reptile-type texture to their skin. The eyes are very human, and they're Asian in character. The gray aliens are the next category, Reticulum sapiens superior. You have a small race between 3'5" and 4'1". that act as a technician or worker class. They have the classic black eyes wrapping around the sides of their heads. The next category are the ancients. They look almost like giant praying mantises or grasshopper insects. The eyes are fully up to 1/3 the total mass of the head. The Nordics are very interesting because they're the most human appearing of all of the aliens. They appear to be slightly taller than us, extremely athletic in build. The females are extremely well endowed proportionally. The males are very, very gorgeous and are described as looking a lot like some of the models like Fabio. The hybrids are extremely interesting and very varied. Some of the hybrids are proportionally like children with very fine hair. The reptilians seem to have like 3 toes instead of the normal 5 on their feet. And they seem very humanish in proportion, but they have larger than normal mouths and they have a very snake-like or lizard appearance. Some of the aliens, and it's interesting that the aliens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind looked a lot like this, seem to appear like fetuses and are proportionally like fetuses that are running around like small children, have a higher degree of intelligence, and operate in a technical capacity, if you will.
Bill McDonald has no explanation for the variety of alien life he has cataloged.
They can try to kill me. Do you know anyone who was murdered because of this? Not personally, but people are murdered for it.
I'm not suicidal. Am I afraid of something? I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I can assure you of that.
The first time Isaac really understood what was going on in the industry was when he was confronted by his best friend known as Seth Green. This is where he admitted he was into pedophilia.
The first time it really hit me was at Seth's. Seth said, "We now need to have a talk about chicken." And then he basically admitted that he's a pedophile.
The word chicken has been used as a code word in the WikiLeaks from Hillary Clinton to represent a child. In these WikiLeaks, she had stated, "With fingers crossed the old rabbit's foot out the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch." If you're wondering who Moloch is, he was a deity that was worshipped thousands of years ago and what is believed to still be going on today. In order to praise him, they would sacrifice their children.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. There's this girl, Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks. She's been accusing him for months and months and months and months and months. He's never addressed it.
Tom Hanks had posted this Instagram picture a couple weeks back. It states, "Historic Route 66 roadkill? I hope not." This was a clear play on words to predict exactly how Isaac was going to be killed. It's no coincidence that he was suicided by jumping off of a bridge, as they say, and landing on a highway and being killed by a car.
The higher you go, the more sick it gets. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism. Look into Marina Abramovich. If you're just getting started with this stuff, look into Marina Abramovich.
The person who he is referring to is extremely high up in the industry and associated with many famous celebrities. It's clear as day that what she is doing is satanic, but she calls it performance art. She hosts these parties where they do mock human sacrifices. She is also involved with what is known as spirit cooking. It's an occult ancient ritual where she mixes together these ingredients such as sperm and breast milk. After she is done with that, she throws it on what looks like a mock child.
If you don't know who John Podesta is, do some research. Oh, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
John Podesta was the face of Pizzagate, as well as exposed in the WikiLeaks. He has ties to the Clintons and Obama, and this is the artwork that is openly showed in his home. If this doesn't scream pedophilia, I don't know what does.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million. I just said it.
In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles, who he claims have abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who is still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
Dan Schneider, oh my God. Yes, Dan Schneider is, of course, a pedophile. Is Oprah a pedophile? Well, let's see. Hanks, Weinstein, I mean, the company she keeps, as rich as she is, I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide. And it's fucking bad, guys. It's, what about Dave Chappelle? I think he knows quite a bit. Why did he run away to Africa? Why was he so freaked out?
28th of last year, Dave abruptly walked away, not only from the set of the show, but from $50 million, which left his fans shocked and most everyone completely puzzled.
You know, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in control. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Why did they throw Kanye in an insane asylum right after he called out Facebook and Google and saying that they lied to you? Why did they throw him in an insane asylum and drug him for days? Why?
And I'm about the sunken place I can think and I could just be yay and just express how I feel. It was the scariest moment of my life.
What you thought they were going to drug you or kill you?
I thought I was going to get killed. I'm in the hospital. How many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. I was drugged the fuck out, bro.
Jimmy Savile raped and murdered hundreds of kids over the course of 3 decades or longer. No one ever looked into it. And he hung out with the royal family. He was knighted. That's why when people say the news is fake, it's because it's run by these people who are into some very, 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 very sick stuff. We have been brainwashed for our whole lives. You can break someone's subconscious mind. If you're not aware of any of this stuff, look into MK Ultra.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
What's the worst that happens? You die? We all die. We all die. Might as well die doing something good. Everyone's afraid. They're afraid to come out. It's scary, guys. People get killed over this shit. It happens all the time. Aren't you concerned for my life? Yeah. But more importantly, I'm concerned for everybody, because this shit has been going on forever. I'm tired of it. Start researching. I want everyone to wake up. I want you all to wake up. And I love you, alright? Bye.
You guys some of the documents showing the white races of Europe, and we can get a better perspective as to who the Moors were fighting. These are the albinos and the beasts of Europe. And the Moors were fighting these people for hundreds of years prior to the so-called transatlantic slave trade. And one interesting thing I wanted to show you is that when you look at these beasts and albinos and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve in just a few hundred years, keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years ago, and they had no last names. Many of them didn't even have first names. And I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting. If you see here the wild men, and you look at the clothing that the people are wearing to the left, you can see here they're wearing this clothing to cover up their hairy bodies. So I found that very interesting. And something else I found in the British Library was one of the oldest genealogy charts, one of the first ones made for white people. And as you can see at the bottom of that genealogy chart, you see two wild men. So they're showing that their ancestry comes from the caveman. So that should give you something to think about, considering that just a few hundred years later, today, we have people like the Queen of England who claim to be of the royal bloodline of Egyptians and Cushites who ruled the earth. They even found the remains of a boy who was buried at Stonehenge in Europe. He was buried in Europe, but he actually came from the Mediterranean Sea in Africa. And he came to Europe 3,500 years ago. So that's in 1500 BC. So we're told that the Moors arrived in Europe in 700 AD.
Before we called it loud, the U.S. Army called it EA 2233, meaning Experimental Agent 2233. The marijuana that we smoked with the enhanced THC, it came out of government laboratories. What we call Molly, the U.S. Army called EA 1475. Molly, MDMA, along with enhanced THC marijuana, both were produced in the U.S. Army Chemical Warfare Laboratory. And before it hit the streets and came to us, it was tested. They both were tested on black bodies by the U.S. government. Why do I say that? So marijuana and Molly are the two staples of hip hop right now. And the drum majors of those drugs don't even necessarily partake. That's an example of the weaponizing of hip hop. Hip hop is our culture, but it's been weaponized against us. So that's what I mean by the celebration of the nigga culture. Mm-hmm. The drug culture is death to black life by design. We celebrate it, but it's death to black life.
Now, you've also stated, I believe, about medical marijuana that there's chemicals in there that cause feminization.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wrote a book, The Assault on the Black Man, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity, understanding.
Yes, sir.
The assault on the black man, black manhood, and black masculinity.
Absolutely. And to understand the assault, you have to understand the point you just raised, Sister Angela. When we say medical marijuana in 2017, it's really laughable. Natural cannabis, the cannabis that God planted, that natural cannabis has great medicinal value. That's a very different thing than loud. That's a very different thing than Kush. The chemical composition of what we smoke today is very different from the natural plant that was planted and does have medicinal value. The medicinal or medical value of the natural cannabis plant is mainly in the chemical CBD. That's the chemical in natural cannabis that produces the greatest medical effect. And it partly produces it because it tames and limits the negative effects of the other chemical, THC. The problem is CBD doesn't get you high. THC gets you high. Because THC is the neurodegenerative. It does damage to the brain and the testosterone. CBD is the medicinal, is the good chemical. In the loud, in the kush that we smoke, the CBD has been grafted out of it. And the THC content, the stuff that gets you high but kills your brain and kills the black man's testosterone, it went from less than 2% to today, 14%. And I saw my brother Snoop Dogg here talking about with that moon rock and that sun rock. Yeah. You have marijuana with THC contents 40, 50, 60%, and then Dragon Ball that's 90%. All of this THC enhanced marijuana is a weapon.
And you think they're using the drugs to feminize men? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because
you also say masculize the women too, so you
absolutely. Absolutely. Marijuana, this enhanced marijuana, feminizes the black man and masculinizes the black woman. The high potency THC, it lowers the testosterone. Understand what that means. We have a wrong conception, DJ Envy, of testosterone. Testosterone ain't a libido. It's a libido, right? Ain't a sex hormone. Testosterone is testosterone with another biochemical, serotonin. These two are the biochemical basis of a man's drive for power. It's the signature of dominant men. And be clear, masculinity is not about a man's sex drive. Masculinity is about a man.
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here. Now, this is information that the TV don't show you about Europeans, right? Now, did you know Europeans on Native American reservations in Africa? Did you know that? Did you know that? It's hundreds of these reservations. Now, ask yourself this question. How did they get here on these reservations? And this is how they living. No lights, no running water, no nothing. But how did they get here? Well, the apartheid story, and I'm giving you just a little synopsis on how they got on these reservations. They tried to take over their court system, their buildings. You know how Europeans do. Police stations, and they got fed up. They said, you know what? You're taking over too much of our land. You're taking over too much of our court system, police stations, and this, and government, and that. They overhauled the whole government. They overhauled and put them on reservations. And you think that these so-called Europeans took us from Africa by the millions? And they actually took over their land back from the Europeans and put them on reservations, which called white squatter camps. As you can see, apartheid, which came in the end 22 years ago, old white supremacist regime. Basically, the white Afrikaners, right? Basically, just put it like this. It's the White House folded right now. That's what they did. They took over the buildings in mainstream downtown and all this and all that and all that. And they took back over their land. Now, the same thing they tried to do to them. They tried to call them slaves, right? And if you look up what I'm saying and pay very close attention, the word slave did not originally refer to black people. It originated from the word Slav, right? From the peoples from Europe. So when they did not work there, they came here to fool the indigenous people and say, oh, your ancestors were slaves. Your ancestors were slaves, called mental warfare. And it kind of worked. This is why Africa talking about some, oh, they took our ancestors and we piggyback. No, nigga, you put white people on reservations. Ain't nobody took your peoples from Ghana, right? But all secrets revealed, right? I hope you learned something today, that we ain't come from Africa, right? We always been here. But if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it. All secrets revealed.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan Khanate in Great Tartary. In advanced Asiatic civilization, they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibachi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were fail melanin, mutants who had to glue animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone in their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a Gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock, that's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets. They wear your crowns and mimic your hair because they know that crown was the mark of a god-man on Earth.
Interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened, and what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
Quantum rules that nobody explains. The universe prefers low effort outcomes. use. We've been taught that effort creates results, right? But physics doesn't agree with that line of thinking. I'm 7. I approach manifestation scientifically in a way that makes it easier, faster, and more predictable. If you look at nature, which is a perfect representation of how to be in flow, a perfect simulation of how the universe works, systems always move towards the path of least resistance. Not because they're lazy, but that's how stability forms. Water doesn't fight gravity, right? Electricity doesn't take the long way around. Energy always finds the most efficient configuration. With that being said, the universe doesn't reward effort. It rewards coherence. When you try to force an outcome through effort, what you're actually doing is adding unnecessary energy to the system. And that creates instability. Low effort outcomes happen faster because they require less reorganization of reality. In other words, the universal energy doesn't have to work around what you're now doing in order to deliver what you want to you. That's why things often fall into place when you stop pushing, right? Not because you gave up, but because you stopped creating resistance by inserting what you think should happen. Effort feels productive to the mind, but to the universe, ease is a signal that everything is aligned. The most powerful shifts don't come from trying harder. They come from removing what was never needed in the first place. Just relax and allow the universe to reorganize for you. That's its job. That's what it does best. If you want to know more about the quantum physics, the quantum mechanics behind manifestation, how it works and why it works, the link is right in my bio.
Do you think it's a coincidence that the mayor of New York is an East Indian, and the director of the FBI is an East Indian, and the wife of the current vice president is an East Indian, and the last vice president was an East Indian? Art, you've never seen that many East Indians ever in American history occupy positions of influence and authority like you see in those 4 offices. You've never seen this before. And what I believe, Art, is that the white power structure is recruiting the East Indian immigrants and East Indian Americans to be the new priority minority. They're going to use them in America the same way the British used them in Uganda, the same way the British and the French and the Dutch used them in the Caribbean islands. When you go to the Caribbean, Art, the East Indians are a buffer group between the blacks and the former colonizers. When you go to Africa, the East Indians are a buffer group between the blacks and the former colonizers. And guess what they're about to do in America? Under Kamala Harris's administration, under Mayor Mamdani's administration, they're going to be a buffer group between blacks in the power structure. History is repeating itself. Global black history is repeating itself in America, Art. But because we don't study global black history, because most of us are not Pan-Africanists, we don't even see the writing on the wall. We don't even see that America is about to use East Indians to replace and control black people. You see it in New York City right now, and you're going to see it if Kamala Harris gets elected. And why? Because America cannot afford for India to get any closer to Russia and China than she already is, being a part of the BRICS Federation.
In our traditions, women are dominant. And if you look on my family's statue, you will see a woman dead center dancing while the man is kind of stepped to the side looking at her. This dance that you see us doing in Haiti, in Africa, where the ladies take their chest and they're starting to do this towards the men. Every man was born from a woman. So women like to show their dominance by doing that dance right there. And that's what she's doing in the statue. Now, when you look down at the bottom of the statue, you will notice that the chains are not shackled to the slave's feet. That's because they had Sunday off and they're dancing on top of those chains. You look in the background of that statue, you'll see a Native American woman looking to the left. Just that spicy Native American revenge. You gotta understand, this land belonged to the Homa Native Americans first. So when the Africans were out there dancing, here come a Native American person right beside that African slave. And you'll see them dancing together. Native American take off a headdress, throw it on that African slave, keep on dancing. Find another African slave, take off a shirt, throw it on that one, keep on dancing. Now you got all these Africans dressed as Native Americans. According to the law, the slaves got to be back at the slave cabins before the sunset. So as the sun was setting, the natives would be like, well, I see no Africans here. Come on, y'all, let's go. We're going home. We got to get out of here. And all these Africans dressed as natives, they walked away from slavery. I got to tell y'all, when I was reading that in the courthouse, I know the people was mad at me because I was in there going, ooh, wee. Ooh, this tea is hot.
That girl says she is not finna give her money to a luau. And I believe her because she got an accent, so I know she know what she talking about. Everybody who ate Tina Knowles gumbo, this gumbo, the reason why y'all sick is because y'all don't know what the fuck she put in that damn gumbo. And see, if you know anything about luau, you know that they last for 101 days. The curse lasts for at least 101 days. That means whatever the fuck going on with y'all stomach right now, you finna feel that shit for the next 2, 3, 4 months. And what's crazy is that y'all ran out there to buy this gumbo just because Tina Knowles' name is behind it. Talking about, oh, we might be eating human remains, but 16 to 18 hours to make gumbo. And yes, you do not eat gumbo. You don't cook gumbo in the heat. You just don't do that. Anybody who's cooked gumbo should know that. And why would a woman that's otherwise wealthy be out here selling $25 cups of gumbo? Do y'all even use y'all brain sometimes before y'all just run out here and try to, because y'all want to be a part of something?
To the president's right.
Oh, there you go. 11 years, 94 to 05, and that's 7 years of Bill Clinton and 4 years of W. Bush. Yeah. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Former White House chef Walter Scheib was found dead after a 5-day search and rescue operation.
Mexico State Police say after an autopsy, the medical investigator reports Scheib drowned, and his death is officially an accident.
Feiglinge, verreiter Versager!
And Tommy Mottola is a devil. I'm not supposed to say what I'm going to say right now, but I have to let you in on a secret.
Say it.
So, please don't videotape what I'm going to say, okay? Because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony, being being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer myself would outthink them.
Yeah.
So we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do, because now I'm a free agent. I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. It's with 2 new songs, which I've written ages ago. Because every album that I record, I write, like, literally, I'm telling you the truth, I write at least 120 songs every album I do. So I can do the box set and just give them any 2 songs. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it. But I just did good business, you know.
Tell him! Say it, Michael! Tell the story!
But so the way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album. But I've always said, you know, good art never dies. Thank you. I love Unbreakable. You know, turn that off, please. No, what? I don't mind. Tape it.
Oh! Michael is getting gangster today! Yeah.
Mariah Carey, after divorcing Tony, came to me crying. She was crying so badly I had to hold her. And she said to me that this is an evil man. And Michael, this man follows me, she said. He taps her phones. And he's very, very evil, and she doesn't trust him. And he is a horrible human being. And we have to continue our drive until he's terminated.
Oh! There you go!
We can't allow him to do this to great artistry. We just can't. I just want you to know I appreciate everything you've done. You've been amazing. You're so loyal, Diana. Everybody, Waldo, all the people here, I love you all. You've been amazing.
Thank you!
I love you.
According to a confession in our possession, a covert alliance between a foreign intelligence agency and CIA Black Ops didn't just influence the music industry, it purged it. Artists who wouldn't be shaped, artists who spoke too loudly, artists who tried to wake people up. Because the gatekeepers were never chasing fame, money or art, they were chasing control. Control of youth culture, control of rebellion, control of the spiritual frequency of an entire generation. Now, a former intelligence officer claims he helped plan the hits on Prince, Michael Jackson and others, who were eliminated because the elite feared what they could make people become. Tonight, we play the tape. And the most frightening part isn't what already happened, it's what he says is happening right now. The same Zionist and Black Op units quietly drawing up new lists, new targets, and a new generation of voices marked for erasure. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Many people are calling the killing of Charlie Kirk the most shocking political assassination of our time. But history is littered with other deaths that were never supposed to be recognised for what they really were. Not accidents, not overdoses, not bad luck. Assassinations. And always for the same reason Charlie was silenced. A voice that grew too loud, that asked the wrong questions, that woke too many people up. When someone starts pulling the curtain back on how power really works, they don't get debated, they get erased. Prince blew the whistle on a range of dangerous topics, including chemtrails, social engineering, and the slave contracts forced on artists by the entertainment industry.
Probably in both of those magazines to keep me off the cover and out of their magazine, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to preach freedom, all right? And I'm going to preach the annihilation of contracts.
Michael Jackson enraged his masters at Sony when he wrote a song called Don't Cry Palestine. The Zionist mafia in control of the music industry marked him for destruction when he began calling them out in public, exposing their crimes.
Ago to revise the lyrics to his song They Don't Care About Us, lyrics many called anti-Semitic.
Last year he angered Jewish groups when he sang these words.
Do me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kite me, don't you black or white me.
I'm shocked. Jew me, sue me, kick me, kite me. Those are the words that he told us that he would never use again.
The bigger he has gotten, the bigger the shots. And of course, as I said, when Christ did things to free the oppressed people, and they tried to destroy him also.
Except don't like bleaching. I was so tired of. They start out the most popular person in the world, make a lot of money, big house, cars, and everything, end up with penniless. It is conspiracy. The Jews do it on purpose.
Sue me, everybody do me,
record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
And just like Charlie, Michael knew when they were coming for him. His final phone call, the night before he died, has been suppressed for years. And when you hear it, you'll understand why they're desperate to keep it under wraps.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it over the phone. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel in my soul, only God knows, they could shoot me. They could stab me. They could frame me and say I overdosed you with drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do these things?
It's not the government. It's more than the government.
Michael was right. It's more than the government. It's the deep state, in connection with Mossad. John Holmstrom, a retired CIA agent, recently dropped a bombshell on NTV, the national Russian television channel. He revealed that the music industry was actually a covert psyop designed by the CIA and Mossad in the 1980s, designed to brainwash the youth and control generations. And after the break, we'll prove that the psyop is still going strong today, and psychopathic CIA and Mossad intel agents are more trigger-happy than ever before, because the stakes have never been higher. Spiritual warfare is their game, and their existence is on the line. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, weight loss and diabetes medication, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer. Michael Jackson was not a paedophile. They dragged his name through the mud because he refused to fall in line.
Something like leeches. I was so tired of it. They start out the most popular person in the world, make a lot of money, big house, cars, and everything, end up with penniless. It is conspiracy. That you do it on purpose.
According to former CIA agent John Holmstrom, the agency, in connection with Mossad, killed MJ, Prince, and Tom Petty as part of their psyop to gatekeep the culture. He breaks down how it works in detail. In the 80s, the CIA and Mossad were working behind the scenes, providing support funding and creative direction for major artists like NWA, Dr. Dre, Public Enemy, and Run DMC. He revealed that the agency spent big money, serious money, in this secret operation, aimed at corrupting American youth with nihilistic anti-establishment and anti-American ideologies. and sowing division within the country. Ice Cube appeared on the Bill Maher podcast and shocked everybody with his revelations about the CIA's role in shaping the hip-hop scene.
They didn't make you write those lyrics. It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're going to have this guy write the lyrics. We're going to have that. You have, the record company pushing the narrative. Some social engineering going on here.
Homeston confirmed that Ice Cube is right. Tracks from legendary crews like NWA were penned by a team of CIA propagandists and psychologists. The aim was to stir up skepticism towards authority, glamorize drug use, and lure the youth with rebellious anti-establishment rhymes.
We knew this music had the power to shape young minds. Our mission was to channel teenage angst, turning Generation X into a culture that was all about decadence, drug use, and anti-establishment rebellion, sparking riots and more division within society. We even infiltrated mainstream radio to blast their tracks and reach millions every day.
Homeston describes the CIA's infiltration of the 1980s hip-hop scene as one of their most successful propaganda moves, comparing the hip-hop industry to Frankenstein's monster getting up and taking the stage.
It was like we built this cultural Frankenstein in the lab, and once it hit the stage, there was no controlling it. The hip-hop scene became the perfect vehicle for our agenda, and it just took on a life of its own. Now there are artists who are doing our bidding without even realizing it, and we don't have to pay them a dime.
Homeston also revealed that Laya Cohen, also known as the tall Israeli who runs hip-hop, is a CIA and Mossad asset, along with many of the household name artists that he signed.
When it comes to shaping the culture, Lyor Cohen is untouchable.
Artists signed and promoted by Laya Cohen include Slick Rick, Will Smith, Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy, De La Soul, Ludacris, A Tribe Called Quest, and more. Cohen later promoted Jay-Z and Kanye West, and helped bring artists including Migos and Young Thug to fame. Here is Cohen essentially admitting that he's a spook, working undercover in the entertainment industry.
Thinking about all the groups and artists that Rush and Def Jam collectively that you were involved in and got to see develop, that's extraordinary in terms of
lucky motherfucker.
Right.
Lucky motherfucker. I've touched more rappers than everybody else combined. Okay? Period. Okay? American music, let's not only send guns around the world.
Right.
Let's send our culture. By being in Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan knows more about America through the movies and the music than they do by the guns. They can't even name the gun, but they can name you. They can book you. I'm glad that the American government, Anthony Blinken, big shout out to Anthony Blinken, okay? Our Secretary of State promoting and funding bipartisan support on funding American soft power around the world.
According to Homeston, some of Cohen's artists are tools of the CIA and Mossad, while others are fully signed up assets.
Some of these artists were just pawns, unknowingly doing the CIA's bidding, but others, like Jay-Z and Dr. Dre, they were fully in on it. Jay-Z's out there pushing his satanic beliefs, and Dre, the elites made sure he became the first hip-hop billionaire. These guys are untouchable. CIA, assets, rewarded for playing their part.
But the elites weren't just satisfied with corrupting America's youth and sowing division in society. They wanted to enrich themselves even further, while destroying the nuclear family and inner cities. If this is news to you, take a look into the CIA's history of flooding American streets with crack in the 80s, as part of a covert effort to stop people attaining stability, building wealth, and achieving political power.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
2026, nothing has changed. The Zionists still pull the strings behind the intelligence agencies. The faces shift, the substances change, but the result is always the same. Streets flooded with drugs, designed to keep people numb, confused, and easy to manage. Back then, voices like Michael Jackson and Prince were silenced for stepping out of line, for reaching too many people with ideas that couldn't be controlled. And now, a new generation of truth tellers is in their crosshairs. People who challenge the narrative, people who wake their audiences up, people like Charlie Kirk. Speak too loudly, and the system speaks back.
I look at the West, our greatest ally, and I see a new enemy rising from within. I am speaking of a poison being sold to the American people as patriotism. I'm speaking of the intellectual vandalism of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens.
You can no longer convince people that you are murdering, stealing, plundering, raping in the name of the Lord. I think it's the latter, but these people are dangerous. Okay, if anything happens to Tucker Carlson or me, you obviously know that Israel was involved. Obviously, that is unbelievably apparent in their rhetoric. They're name checking us. They're calling us on stage. They're sending their goons out to harass us.
Different era, same machinery. And as the Zionist-controlled elite threaten more assassinations to traumatize the nation and grind the younger generation under the jackboots, it's time to take a stand and say no more. No more Israel first. Because you're under attack. Did you know one of Israel's most powerful weapons is the VPN on your laptop or your phone right now? Under Netanyahu, Israel has bought up most of the most popular VPNs in the world, including ExpressVPN, CyberGhost, Nord, and private internet access. If you're paying a VPN for privacy, stop. They're not protecting you, they're spying on you. Because we care about our viewers and this movement, we're revealing the first trustless VPN, VP.net. Built last year so that even if it wanted to spy on you, it couldn't. Even if the feds came knocking, they'll walk away empty-handed. It's built inside a secure enclave, uses military-grade encryption and stores zero data. And here's the best part. It's 100% American-owned. No Mossad backdoors, no feds rifling through your DMs. Sign up today at vp.net/TPV. And you can finally stop asking, who's monitoring me? Because the answer is they were, but with vp.net, not anymore. Reject Israel first, expel the spies hiding in your phone, in your apps, in your devices. Go to vp.net/TPV and take back control before it's too late.
We drink their blood. But they get Miss Marden, our nurse in our school.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations. So that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm not going to stab them, but I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talked about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, "Hey, Prez, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here. Okay, I'm gonna text you. I gotta go by in 69." And they get these people, they tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius, so we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius, because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all occults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raping kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think that he didn't exist, and making people atheist, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression. Oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it right now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know if this is not it. And I just know these people are demons. Like, I don't know. They just like, look at the way they breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Same thing. I look at Sam Altman. I'm like, look, I don't know. But I know it's not a droid, obviously.
The other third type that got mentioned on Mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilians.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab environments. Not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation did anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No. The only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? I don't know. But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil? And I had to listen to that.
And the thing is, we don't know if it's because of their appearance. You would assume something that's reptilian is maybe a demon or whatever. And a Nordic, where the blonde hair, blue-eyed, is considered like an angel. Or is it that's just our perception? Mm-hmm. But that's what you hear.
Well, yep. Every reptile here is evil. Right? You ever seen a Komodo dragon eat a goat? It's horrific. They're fucking monsters. Every single reptile is a monster.
Yeah,
that's here. There's not one cuddly reptile you can hang out with, cuddles with you. He brings you your newspaper in the morning. Oh,
I thought that was funny because the lady's like, my snake sleeps with me every night, and the guy says no. It's laying next to you because it's sizing you up for eventually a chance when it's going to eat you. I was like,
one day it's going to eat you. You have a monster that you feed. And as long as you keep feeding, it won't eat you. Yeah, people with like pythons for pests.
Well, to give it some credibility, I did do some research after that person talked to me, because I did see that there is a reptilian race that is very malign like that, and they even have, according to what I read, this one race has a penchant for blood. For some reason, it's like a shark frenzy with them. They have
like a real reptile.
It's a euphoric experience for them. Yeah, a reptilian race that does that.
It just makes you wonder.
There was a reason why the white man had to do what he did.
What was that?
It was a cosmic reason. If it wasn't a cosmic reason,
it wouldn't have happened.
That occurrence would not have occurred.
Okay.
So we now, being the children of that continent they call Africa.
What you call it?
What do I call it?
Yes.
Then you want to put me in a deficit.
No.
We didn't name anything.
Oh.
How could we name something we didn't make?
Okay.
We didn't call Africa anything. They got brothers and sisters that said, when it was a cable land, that came out of a vowel sound of A-E-I-O-U.
A vowel, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's true.
And we had that in the jungle? No. We didn't have that in the jungle.
No vowels, no.
We did not have that in the jungle.
Right.
So what did you have in the jungle, nigga? What did we have? We had the laws of life, the vibration that was electrical.
Okay.
We need no philosophy. We obey the laws of life, just like the eagle, just like the elephant.
It's nature.
That's us. But we have been divorced from it.
That's
but
right.
Okay. Urwa. It's here again.
We are coming back.
Hey girl, this is beautiful, right?
It is.
It develops a love for self. Oh God, it's so delicious.
Oh wow. I love that. I love you, Dr. Singh.
I love you too. I love you. I resonate on the jungles of Africa. I'm not like an Eskimo that live with the whale.
Right.
If you give me the diet of the Eskimo, I would die of a heart attack in less than a fortnight.
It's all.
And if you give the Eskimo my diet, he would freeze.
Okay.
So it shows that when nature arranges something, you have to follow that arrangement because that is the original way it should be.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
You mean to tell me that I would gain more of a life expression if I obey the laws of life and not that of a theologian?
That's right.
Or that of a philosopher?
That's right.
Yes, because the theologian, have you eaten hog?
That's right.
A lamb, which offends my biological.
Tell us about lamb, because we all think that it's okay to eat the goat, the lamb.
Well, of course, it is okay for us to eat crab and lamb and lobsters and shrimps. Lamb is nothing. You see what happened? We are under the impression that if we aren't Christians or Muslims or Buddhists or Hindu, that we are faltering.
Somehow.
Well, we are faltering when we accept one of them, because now you have become prejudiced.
Right.
You accept none. You accept you. And in accepting you, you are.
know that almost every single famous person has lost a child. Every single person you see here in this video has lost a child, often under bizarre and mysterious circumstances. If you can find a rare exception of a celebrity who did not lose a child, they usually will have lost someone incredibly close to them much before the assumed time that person would have died, like a mother or a father. This phenomenon stretches across the whole spectrum of celebrity, everyone from musicians, actors, politicians, rock stars, and even sports stars. How many people do you know in your life who has lost a child? How many people do you know that lost that child under mysterious circumstances? Just from a mathematical perspective, it does seem a little odd that we can find so many examples of this amongst celebrity culture. What in the world is going on with this?
You won't believe this. So, the Egyptian pyramids, you know, those famous little pyramids in Giza, even though they were built, 4,500 years ago or something, they still perfectly align with the belt of Orion. Like, I'm talking perfectly. But how is that actually possible if we're on a globe and we're spinning in 5 different directions through the void of space and we will never see the same stars again? Well, that's impossible. We still have the same stars. We've always had the same star constellations. And not only that, pyramids in Mexico and pyramids in China also align with the belt of Orion. Well, why would they be aligning with this specific constellation? Some people theorize that Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, is a portal to other realms. So maybe they were aligning with it energetically to try to teleport to other realms or connect the heavenly realm to the worldly realm. But Sirius looks an awful lot like Siri. And what do you do when you talk to Siri? You're talking to your phone, but you're talking to the ether. You're talking to other realms. When you're on your phone, you're on social media, when you're watching this video right now, you're communicating with other worlds, the ether. This is the Matrix. We are being pulled into a digital world. It doesn't actually physically exist, but I'm here right now talking to you. So maybe that's why Sirius looks an awful lot like Siri. Pretty weird, huh? But this video was for entertainment purposes only. Stars don't align with anything.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Hawk, and I recently became an ambassador for Liquid Death Mountain Water. Apparently, I didn't read the fine print, and now Liquid Death officially owns my soul. And my blood, too? I don't know, it's very confusing. They're taking my blood, and we're gonna use it for skateboard graphics. So they're gonna mix my blood into the paint and do a limited run of skateboards using my real blood in the graphics. But some of the profits will go towards killing plastic pollution and to building skate parks in underserved communities. Yeah, so I guess go to liquiddeath.com to get skateboards with my blood in it. So wait, if you have my blood, that means you have my DNA.
Get a Liquid Death skateboard infused with 100% real Tony Hawk today. Wow, you can own your very own piece of Birdman, but hurry. Supplies are extremely limited, so visit liquiddeath.com/hawkblood right now.
If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing, on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated is a missile with all the warheads. We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson.
Another quite humiliation for China. Chinese-made air defense systems in Venezuela neutralized easily. Iranian drones useless. U.S. electronic warfare didn't just win, it erased the battlefield. It was a superb demonstration of American military superiority over China. And every country watching just learned a brutal lesson, which is Chinese weapons look good in brochures and fake propaganda videos, but they collapse under real pressure. And let's be honest, Venezuela is not Ukraine. It's right next to the United States. Since the Monroe Doctrine, Washington has been very consistent. No external power gets a foothold in the Western Hemisphere. China tried to sneak in through loans, oil, and ideology, propping up a dictator. It just got kicked out hard. Maduro thought China, Russia, and Iran had his back. Well, Mr. Maduro, I think you overestimated BRIC propaganda and underestimated American power. China writes statements. America.
Wow. Joseph Stalin. He was Illuminati. He was a member of the Grand Orient Lodge. Leon Trotsky, Grand Orient Lodge. Kissinger is a member committee of 300. J. Edgar Hoover, 33. Cecil John Rhodes, Aleister Crowley. Walt Disney was a 33-degree Freemason. Olive Palm, Al Gore, Tony Blair, Joseph Mengele. That's interesting. That's the mass murderer of the Nazis. He was Illuminati. Robert McNamara. You name it, they're all there. Billy Graham. Oops, sorry, let's move on. Colonel John Glenn, Buzz Aldrin, everyone who's ever been up in space has to be a Freemason of the highest degrees. Edgar Mitchell, all the way through, Francis Bacon, Lord David Owen, all the negotiators, Richard Halbrook. I'm just running through some of them. Alan Greensprang, Peter Wallenberger, Queen Elizabeth is the queen of the Bilderbergers. Prince Philip, Queen Beatrix, she's the Committee of 300. Prince Bernard of the Netherlands, Committee of 300. And so we go on and on and on and on. Ted Kennedy, Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, Deng Hui, Baron von Rothschild, Hillary Clinton is 6 Grand Dame. She's a very high Freemason. Albert Pike, of course, you know, Bertrand Russell, Otto von Habsburg, Weishaupt, all the way back. Here is Edgar Hoover. President Dwight D. Eisenhower there honors him with the 33 Grand Cross at the Special.
The American people today, if they knew the whole story of what the security apparatus in the United States military and in the United States government were doing to them and to their so-called constitutional guarantees, they'd be rioting in the streets. The Defense Intelligence Agency and every one of the, I think maybe at least 24 major security organizations in our government concluded that beyond the shadow of a doubt, this secret must be kept not only from the American people, but from the world population at large. And as a result of that decision, they have created a worldwide conspiracy among governments to keep the lid on this secret. Now, let me share with you what some of the 4 major conclusions of the assessment were in 1964. In 1964, they had determined, at least this is in the NATO study, and I know for a fact that this is the conclusions that had been reached by our own military as early as 1949. Number 1, planet Earth is and has been the subject of an extensive, massive, a very thorough and detailed study by several extraterrestrial civilizations. Now that's an attention getter in itself. Number two, these civilizations have demonstrated an extremely advanced technology, possibly hundreds or even thousands of years beyond our own. It gets better. There seems to be a process or a plan of some kind unfolding. The studies indicated and demonstrated that a development of some kind of program was underway. Evidence collected indicated that the program has been going on for a very long time, possibly hundreds or even thousands of years. And some of my associates, research fellows, and I have concluded it's probably been going on longer than that. The study concluded that there did not appear to be a major military threat involved in 1964. That if they, whoever they are, were malevolent or hostile, there was absolutely nothing we could do, because the level of technology that had been demonstrated was so far beyond anything we had in 1964 that we felt that if they were hostile or malevolent, the game was up. It was all over with. What we are addressing here and dealing with is indeed the major issue of our time. It goes beyond the Soviet dissolution of the Soviet Union. It goes beyond the Cold War. It goes beyond politics, the recent election. It goes beyond the famines, the revolutions, the terror in Yugoslavia. It goes beyond any major human problem that we are currently dealing with on this planet, because this problem has been with us for thousands of years and is indeed the major issue of our time. And I hope you will agree with me when I'm finished as to why. The assessment was about 1.5 inches, maybe 1 3/4 thick. The study itself, in its conclusions, it was supported by approximately 8 inches of annexes, supporting documents, supporting studies, supporting research. There were annexes on radar and electromagnetic effects. There was an annex on optical and light analysis. A beautiful annex on photographic and holographic analysis. There was historical research and evidence. They went to some of the top people in England at Oxford and Cambridge on the historical evidence. There was metallurgical and technical analysis. There were atmospheric physics studies, biological analysis, and autopsies. The 3 issues that I thought of at the time of being the most important were the psychological studies and the impact upon the human race, sociological effects and implications, and probably what I have considered to be the most important annex and study of all in terms of its effect upon the world population is the theological implications and impact.
You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf. Right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the tactics of what happened in 1930s Germany to what's happening here. Read history. You learn from history. Anytime you have the loss of life that needlessly happens, that's tragedy. And what occurred yesterday did not have to happen.
Holy shit, the feds are already dropping some of the charges against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Yesterday, they were forced to admit that the Cartel de los Soles, which they accuse Maduro of being the head of, isn't even a real drug cartel. They're probably worried that it's going to come out in court that it's actually the CIA that's behind most of the drug trafficking in Venezuela. Honestly, we've been knowing the CIA does this. I mean, fucking 60 Minutes did a whole ass news piece on it back in 1993. The CIA created the Cartel de los Soles. Now it's wild to see the feds backtracking on the main pretense for why they even invaded and kidnapped Maduro in the first place. I'm not saying Maduro's gonna walk necessarily, because if the feds want you, they'll find a way to get you. They've probably got Mexican drug cartel kingpins like Ovidio Guzman or Mayo Zambada lying, saying that they got their cocaine from President Maduro, which is absurd. You think Maduro's on the phone with fucking Ovidio Guzman, Chapo's son, discussing coke deals? You out of your fucking mind? Nobody's that stupid. And if the Cartel de los Soles doesn't exist, how can Maduro be the head of an organization that doesn't exist? I think he's gonna get a slap on the wrist. He might not even get prison time. And if he does, when the Democrats take back power, they're gonna pardon him. Just a reminder, you guys, our leaders are a pedophile cult who kill people all over the world and are ruining our country.
Through your thinking that gets emitted through your physical body into the esoteric body, goes out into the world and touches those that are relevant and needed to the completion of whatever the goal is or the intention is for you.
The creations of our mind are like a virus affecting everyone we come in contact with. With scarcity thinking, you will not only attract scarcity from the universe, you will get it from those you come in contact with as well. All negative feelings and emotions, such as fear, panic, doubt, jealousy, and criticism, all spread this way. But the opposite is also true. Joy, happiness, power, enthusiasm, and abundance all spread the same way.
Well, just imagine if when you speak that it's like a balloon, but the moment you have stopped speaking, stopped having the thought, the balloon is released and the balloon will arrive through the law of attraction to the person that that thought is meant for.
You can pick up the thoughts of somebody from the other side of the world because there is no other side of the world. That's an illusion. There's no time or space. That's why when you take a picture of somebody and hit send, they got it simultaneous you sending. They may as well be next to you.
What happens if I have a negative thought? And it's not a matter about having a negative thought, because in reality, negative thoughts can actually be quite powerful. What do I mean by that? It's because negative thoughts actually tell you exactly what you don't want. And then once you know what you don't want, the key is to make sure you don't stay in that place.
When it comes to scarcity thinking, not only do we have to be aware of what we are sending out and receiving from others, but it is important that we realize that it is that awareness that protects us from these negative influences. When we are aware, we are in control of how we participate in the energy of the thinking around us.
When it comes to toxic people, I really think that most of the gurus have it wrong. They teach to disconnect and to separate yourself from toxic or negative people. And while I do advocate the idea of separating yourself from abusive people, the encouragement that they're giving is that if you feel something or someone makes you feel bad, you should avoid it or sever that person from your life. Well, the truth is that all people who function at high levels are problem solvers. They don't run from toxic people or people that make them feel bad. They just learn to manage those people better.
We're all one soul. So when we begin to think that we need to cut people out of our lives, or we begin to think about toxicity within relationships and dismissing people, we're actually hurting